In the news tonight, a key facility in Barbados' crime-fighting effort to be fully functional in another 2 months. Several Barbados-based businesses hit by cyber attacks. Students and teachers at Welches Primary School choose healthy living. And in sports, the Windies yet to name their final 11 for tomorrow's third test against Australia.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC NewsNight, starting now.
Good evening, I'm Lisa Broom. Thank you so much for tuning in. In our top story tonight, government is continuing to beef up its crime-fighting efforts across the island. This as Attorney General Dale Marshall announces the Forensic Sciences Centre at Culloden Road in St. Michael will be reopening in the coming weeks. He made the announcement at the 2025 Criminal Law Annual Conference hosted by the Barbados Bar Association and the Office of the Attorney General and Ministry of Legal Affairs at the Wyndham Grand Barbados, Sam Lord's Castle. Anesta Henry has that story.
After more than a decade out of service, the Barbados Forensic Sciences Centre will be fully functioning again by the first week in September. Attorney General Dale Marshall says the crime lab will be outfitted with state-of-the-art equipment,
including rapid hit DNA, and I think the director tells me that that will give us DNA results in 24 hours. Gas chromatographs with mass spectrometry detection. I leave that for her to explain. I don't have a clue. But this suite of new equipment will also include something called a Randox analyzer, which will enable us to perform post-mortem toxicology. We had a very prominent case in Barbados not so long ago where we sent the toxicology samples to Trinidad. Justice Mohammed, they're still there. We haven't got the results. But obviously toxicology is a critical tool, and we will now be able to do them for ourselves for the first time in Barbados.
And Barbados will receive assistance from Guyana as it relates to training experts to work in the facility, analyzing evidence collected from crime scenes, suspects and victims to help resolve criminal and civil cases.
Guyana has recently announced that it is entering into a partnership with the government of India to build, equip, and train 40 forensic sciences for what will be perhaps one of the premier forensic sciences facilities anywhere in the region. The president of Guyana has offered that of the 40 scientists who will be trained in India, he is prepared to offer Barbados a few spots, Ms. Corbin.
The Forensic Sciences Centre was first opened in May 2003 and was envisioned to be a centre of excellence within the forensics community in the Caribbean. Over the years, the centre faced numerous challenges, among them environmental issues, institutional support, and public perception. Director of the centre, Cheryl Corbin, says going forward, every attempt will be made to mitigate these challenges.
For the Forensic Sciences Centre to be truly an integral arm of the judicial system, we have to work within a framework that is fit for purpose, unbiased, and have a high level of accountability. Now let me just explain something. People talk about high quality, low quality. There's no such, because the word quality means fit for purpose.
When the Forensic Sciences Centre reopens, there will then be 6 of such state-of-the-art facilities in the region. Anesta Henry, CBC News.
Well, cyber criminals continue to target Barbados-based businesses, causing several financial and other disruptions. Cybersecurity expert Edward Millington says so far this year, several sectors have been affected. Well, he joins us now to provide some more details. Good evening, Mr. Millington.
Good evening. Good evening.
Thanks for joining us. Now, you've been involved in some of the responses to cyber attacks, and while you may not be allowed to tell us precisely which companies have been hit, what sectors have you seen targeted and affected?
Well, so far for this year, the increase, you have the financial, the hospitality, leisure, professional services, etc. Those are some main sectors that would have been hit that has been recorded so far.
And so exactly how are these cyber criminals getting through the defenses that are put in place?
Well, majority of these types of attacks, especially when it comes to breaches from ransomware, occurs most likely through emails. So that means then that email systems are not really up to the task to really identify some of these sophisticated and most likely AI-driven types of attacks that bypass a lot of the controls, bring to a point where someone can actually click on it, click on a link itself, and it starts that process from there.
So when it comes to threats, we hear various terms. So one of them, for instance, is ransomware. So tell us what this means and exactly how it works.
Well, for ransomware, what they're really referring to is a cybercriminal sending a piece of email. That email goes back and through a remote link, download a file onto a machine which we call malware that is then activated, which can then use to then collect all sort of information, data, etc. And it also uses a NATS process maybe to encrypt the information itself. So it is almost what we call Damawami type of effect, where not only is the information stolen, but you do not have access to your data, and therefore they give you an ultimatum. If you do not pay this year, you will not get back your data, and also your data will be breached.
So as businesses seek to protect themselves generally as much as possible, how do you advise them to go about doing that?
The best way is to understand that cybercriminals are in this space. These persons have money, and therefore it is always evolving. So one attack today, which might not be successful today, you can almost guarantee they're going to go back at it and make sure it's going to be successfully next time. So what they need to do is really work with cybersecurity experts, those who are really in the field, highly certified in those particular areas, and to make sure that the program that they implement, understanding how their business work, and implementing necessary security controls to protect not only the business, but obviously the data and the privacy of their clients, regardless of stakeholders, board members, etc.
Thank you very much. That's cybersecurity expert Edward Millington. Thanks for joining us, Mr. Millington. Well, Barbados and Jamaica are one step closer to being removed from the European Union's list of high-risk third countries for anti-money laundering and counter-terrorism financing. The European Parliament on Wednesday supported a recommendation from the European Commission for both countries to be removed from the list. This comes 2 days after CARICOM Chair and Prime Minister of Jamaica, Dr. Andrew Holness, expressed CARICOM's concern that an appeal for the delisting had been lagging for a month. Attorney General Dale Marshall says Barbados is now in the objection period, as mentioned in the EU procedures. And coming up, some students and staff at one primary school, well, they choose healthy living. We'll tell you who they are. Students and teachers at Welches Primary School are being encouraged to practice healthy living. They jump-started that process with a healthy lifestyle day themed Let's Get Moving. And Esther Henry has those details.
Students and the teachers of Welches Primary were fittingly dressed in comfortable clothes and shoes to get active. Whether participating in an obstacle course, working out to the sound of music, or learning basic boxing techniques, the mission was for all to get moving. Principal Julia Broom says that the vision is to make healthy living a way of life.
Not just something that we do at Welches, but we want everyone to understand that living healthy includes getting moving, not just eating healthy, but getting moving so that you are active and children learn that a healthy lifestyle can be fun.
Parents, old scholars, members from the community and other partners joined in on the fun-filled activities. There was also healthy meals on offer at the event, and attendees were also informed about the importance of paying attention to their mental health. Physical education teacher Brian Armstrong says he spearheaded the event to show students and the stakeholders there are healthy lifestyle options available to them.
Things that are accessible to us that sometimes we don't even know about. There are businesses within the communities who have healthy options, and especially with the new policy from the ministry related to how we're eating and so on, we wanted to kind of expose some of these options to parents to let them make it part of the culture of the family to go back to like breadfruits. Today we had breadfruits as one of the key focuses with our preparation and so on. So how we can have different meal options from breadfruit, drink options from breadfruit, the fruits that are growing in the trees around us. Bring to school instead of a box juice, or you have those options. So we just wanted to let people know that a healthy lifestyle is not out of reach.
Several businesses partnered with the Welches St. Thomas Bay School to make the event a success. Onesta Henry, CBC News.
As the world celebrates Caribbean Literature Day, a call is being made for all Caribbean authors and aspiring writers to be celebrated and honored. It comes from Chair of the Frank Cullimore Literary Endowment, Dr. Yvonne Weeks, who says for that not to be done would be a shame. Caribbean Literature Day started 6 years ago and is celebrated on July 12th annually. She was speaking as a guest on Morning Barbados.
It's about the Dutch, the French, the Spanish, the English, the French. We all come together, whether we're reading Caribbean literature or posting information about Caribbean literature or having events or just posting about our favorite Caribbean writer. So for me, it's very important that Barbados is part of that Caribbean discussion.
Mm-hmm. Well, Dr. Weeks adds there is a literacy problem throughout the Caribbean, and she urges all to document their writings for generations to come.
We want our stories to be told through our lens, and we also want it to be that we remember when we go to buy books. So bookshops need to bring in Caribbean books. Publishers need to literally go after, those people who are writing about Caribbean stories. So yes, it's very important.
To document.
Spoken word poetry continues to evolve and thrive as a dynamic art form in Barbados. This was evident as scores gathered to witness under the poetry battle Royale, where 7 artists battled for a chance to win cash prizes totaling $700 Barbados dollars, as well as bragging rights. Co-founder of Poetry, Lashana Griffith, is pleased with the response the event, held for the second time, received.
The show has over 200 people here at Bean and Bagel, and that just shows us that the spoken word community is vibrant. People want to hear positive things. The battles were on crime, war, setting, poetry, as well as mental health.
A new electric taxi service has been rolled out in Barbados. It's an initiative expected to breathe new life in the public transport sector. It was introduced during a ceremony by the Hussar Group and the Alliance owners of public transport at the Lucky Horseshoe restaurant in Warrings. Trevor Thorpe was there.
The covers came off the new Zippy electric taxi service today, with Acting Prime Minister Santia Bradshaw in the company of Dr. Rommel Springer calling it a special day for the transportation sector in Barbados. She says the initiative sits within government's clean air mandate of greening Barbados and gave the thumbs up to the partners involved.
Today is a very good example of what can happen when people come together with a common goal in terms of being able to certainly protect the environment and to be able to allow us as a government who have given the guiding policy in relation to clean energy to be able to come together with their respective portfolios to allow us to be able to celebrate today the launch of this particular Zippy taxi.
Before taking a test drive, the Acting Prime Minister, who is also the Minister of Transport and Works, said government is committed to the transitioning of the transport sector in Barbados.
Even down to us ensuring that the vehicles that government officials drive, we have made that transition, so many of the public officer vehicles are now transitioning to electric vehicles. We have also, and we can boast of the largest electric bus fleet in this part of the Western Hemisphere. We have about 89 buses presently, and we are hopeful that by the end of this year that we will have another 35 buses to add to our existing fleet.
Chairman of the Alliance of Owners of Public Transport Incorporated, Royale, says today's rollout is a result of the tireless work of his organization and the government.
We envision that if you're going to be doing basically supermarket runs and within the city area and so on, you don't need a very big taxi to do so, right? Years ago, you need it because they were Julian to a market and then you have 4 or 5 persons. But now we are suspecting that we may have to ask the ministry to look at it since this will be the first small taxi. And I think in Barbados, when you look around the world, Barbados have the largest number of taxis with very few people. So we are trying now to encourage more persons to use the smaller zippy taxi. And electric vehicle basically goes with the role of the Prime Minister in terms of getting us ready by 2025, 26.
The new electric service is aimed at making travelling easier and cleaner. Trevor Thorpe for the Business Report.
Climate resilient infrastructure, private sector and social development were brought into sharp focus in a comprehensive country portfolio review of the Caribbean Development Bank. It formed part of the bank's broader effort to ensure its development assistance remains responsive, results-oriented and aligned with priorities of its borrowing member countries. The initiative brought together senior government officials, including Minister in the Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs, Ryan Strawn, Minister of Economic Affairs and Investment, Kay McConney, CDB representatives, and key project stakeholders. They assessed the status of bank-funded projects, and identified opportunities to strengthen implementation and ensure continued alignment with Barbados's national development goals.
Sports Night is brought to you by Power In. Pause is powered. And by Dasani. Live first, Dasani after.
Time for the second half in sports. Now back over to Anne-Marie.
Thanks, Lisa. I promised surfing, and Barbados surfer Noah Campbell today finished 9th in the men's longboard competition at the Pan American Surfing Games in Guatemala. Surfing in the final heat of the quarterfinals, he ended with a wave total of 4.07 to be 4th. This means Barbados' last hope of a podium finish rests on the shoulders of our lone female surfer Chelsea Tuak, who's into tomorrow's second round of the women's shortboard competition. She will go in Heat 3. All is set for this year's Barbados Ninja Throwdown on the weekend of August 16th to 17th. At the recent media launch, it was revealed that competitor numbers are up significantly. With 10 new obstacles and up to a 40% increase in participants, the 2025 edition of the Barbados Ninja Throwdown is shaping up to be the biggest to date since its inception in 2016. With competitors from Canada, the USA, Hong Kong and Taiwan already registered alongside our local team, co-founder of the Ninja Throwdown, Monique Hines, says the response so far has been tremendous.
We are proud to announce that over 230 to be exact now, and growing, international competitors have officially registered to take on the course. Right alongside them, 10 fearless, Bajan-proud athletes will step up to represent Barbados with heart, strength, and determination. This event is 100% homegrown. From concept to execution, Barbados Ninja Throwdown was built right here in Barbados by Barbadians. Even some of our obstacles carry that national pride with names inspired by Bajan places, indigenous animals, and cultural activities. You will see competitors tackle challenges like Mount Hillaby, Gun Hill Shrinking Steps, River Bay Log Roll, and Green Monkey Trap. It's our way of showcasing Barbados in the most dynamic and memorable way possible and giving a nod to our heritage and identity.
As mentioned, Canada will be fielding a team, and High Commissioner to Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean, Her Excellency Brenda Wills, is in full support of our country's 40-strong contingent, which shows just how much of a global reach the event has evolved into.
Sport plays an important role in diplomacy. It allows nations to project their values and their influence on a global stage, and while also facilitating cultural exchange and people-to-people ties. And all of our athletes from our countries are actually ambassadors for our countries. And it's a very impressive group of Canadians that are coming. We've got world champions, Canadian champions, and I wish them the very best and all the other athletes in their final preparations as they gear up for that August 16th, 17th weekend.
Also fielding a strong contingent is the USA. And Charge d'Affaires of the U.S. Embassy to Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean, Ms. Karen B. Sullivan, boasts of over 150 participants competing under the Star-Spangled Banner.
The Embassy is proud that 153 Americans, and probably growing at this point, are participating in this year's Throwdown, including athletes with large followings across digital platforms, some of whom I'm a big fan of. Their presence here is helping introduce audiences around the world to the hospitality, natural beauty, and the vibrancy of Barbados. And to the organizers, congratulations again on hosting such a successful high-caliber event. You've shown that Barbados can serve as a global stage for athletic excellence and international collaboration.
The Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc. is the title sponsor yet again, and CEO Andrew Franklin says it's sporting events like the Ninja Throwdown that continue to elevate and maintain the island's global profile as a sporting destination. Action in the 2025 Barbados Ninja Throwdown will go down on August 16th and 17th at Featherbed Lane, St. John.
And that's news for tonight. On behalf of the entire team, thank you so much for tuning in. Good night.